Hey designers, today I want to talk to you about computers and hardware and all the technology that I use to get my design work done. Let's start off with my main machine, the computer that I spend the majority of my working hours sitting at and working on, and that is my iMac Pro that you can see in the background here. This is a really recent purchase for me. It's the 2017 model, which I'm pretty sure is the only model that's out currently at the time of making this video. It's got a 3.2 gigahertz processor, it's got 32 gigabytes of RAM, a graphics card, and I bought it from the refurbished Apple store. This is a really great way to get Apple products for cheaper because basically someone else bought it, maybe used it for a little bit, decided they didn't want it, so returned it. Apple refurbishes it, makes it just like new, and then sells it on as a much cheaper price. So I got this for £4,159, which is a very expensive computer. But if I bought it from the Apple store itself, brand new, then it would have cost me £4,899. So that was a saving, £740. That is definitely worth it to shop on the refurbished store. This computer is a beast. It can export videos in mere minutes. It keeps up with me no matter what I'm doing, no matter how many applications I have open at any one time. I absolutely love it. So even though it was a lot of money, for me, it was definitely worth the purchase price. I'm not the type of person who upgrades a computer every year or even every 2 years, anything like that. I know I'm gonna own this thing for many years to come, and it's going to be a great device that keeps being great over time. Since I work from home, and especially now that I have my own office to work in, I really like working on a desktop computer. I was previously using my boyfriend Mark's iMac, but when he started working from home as well, fair enough, he wanted that back to use for himself. And I just decided I couldn't go back to using a laptop and a monitor, which is what I'd used previously. I wanted to get an iMac, so that's why I invested in this one. The screen is beautiful. I'm pretty sure it's like 5K and it's like super clear and amazing. And I like that it's got a lot of inputs to it as well at the back. Seems like a simple thing, but these days most Apple computers don't come with many, so it's nice to be able to put my memory card in it, or as many USBs or USB-Cs as I need to. There's room for it all. I tend to have my camera charger plugged in there all the time, same with a cable to charge the trackpad and keyboard that I use. And speaking of trackpad and keyboard, so the iMac Pro comes with black peripherals, so I've got this black keyboard, black mouse. I don't use either of these, which is a shame because they are beautiful. The mouse I knew I wasn't going to use because I prefer to work with the trackpad. I use the external Apple trackpad. It's just basically a big white book. They do make a black version of this to match the keyboard, which I was kind of thinking of buying if I had stuck with the keyboard. I tried really hard to like this keyboard, but if I show you the current one that I use, let's hold them up together. This keyboard is like a longer version of this one, so it's got a numeric keypad added on the into it. And I didn't find this useful at all. I don't know, nothing about my workflow requires me to have a numeric keypad like that. I guess it's kind of handy having these arrow keys here, but I was already used to using them down the bottom on this keyboard, so I don't know. I tried for a while to use this, but I felt like I was always sitting kind of over to the side a bit to make space for the numeric keypad to be at the side there. So yeah, I gave up on it in the end and just went back to the previous external Apple keyboard that I had. I think a lot of people find it quite weird that I design using the trackpad as my main device. I don't use a mouse, but I got really used to using my laptop when I moved to London and I didn't have an external monitor or, you know, a proper setup at home. I would just be using the trackpad on my laptop. So then when the time came to figure out my home setup, I did get a mouse, and in the end I decided that I just preferred working with the trackpad more. I like all the gestures you can do with it. I feel like I'm really quick using it. And I do have, I don't know if you can see here in the corner, it's like a little wrist pad to use with my trackpad just to make it a little bit more ergonomic. So yeah, this iMac Pro and those peripherals are what I use for the majority of my design work. Now, something you may know about me if you've watched my videos before, you've seen my vlogs, is that I travel a lot for work and for fun, doing remote work while I'm traveling. And sadly, can't pack this up and take it with me on every trip. So when I travel, I take a laptop with me. This is my favorite little traveling laptop. It's the 12-inch MacBook. This is the very first model, I think. So I will say that it's gotten a little bit slow now. Going from the crazy fast speed of the iMac Pro to this little 12-inch, quite the shock to the system. However, the size of this kind of makes up for a lot of that speed annoyance. It's super tiny, super light, so that makes it great to travel with. I tend to take it with me on trips that are like 1 or 2 weeks max, because any longer than that, and I do find myself getting frustrated by how small the screen is, especially for doing design work. Like, it's just just slightly too small to be designing a full width desktop website in Figma, because you know you've got to have the sidebars of the design tool in there. So yeah, short trips for writing on and things, this is a great device. What I take with me on longer trips is my 15-inch MacBook Pro. This computer, very heavy compared to that 12-inch. I bought this when I first moved to London, also from the refurbished Apple store, and it's quite old now. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a 2014 model. I think I need to get the battery changed because lately it's been having a few problems. When I turn it on and it says it's got like 70%, but then I use it for 5 minutes and it shuts off and needs to be plugged in again to be able to be used. So yeah, that's probably a warning sign and something I should investigate. But this machine has done me good for a very long time. And I think I would recommend, if you're wanting to invest in a computer, one that would be a great all-rounder to take for traveling, to use at home, then I do think a MacBook Pro is a really good choice because it's got that power, it's got that portability. Before we moved into this flat, I used to use this as my main machine and I plugged it into a 4K monitor. Now I kind of need to sell that monitor because it's just sitting around doing nothing. I did think about for a second plugging it into the iMac and having like a dual screen thing going on, but I'm quite liking the focus that a single screen brings. So yeah, I think I'll keep sticking with that for a while. I'm in kind of an annoying situation right now where both of my laptops are not quite cutting it, and I think that I might replace them both with one 13-inch MacBook Air potentially. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna see how much more life I can get out of these first. It's pretty easy for me to switch between all three computers because I use software like Figma where all your files are saved in the cloud, and I use Dropbox for most of my like image assets, document storage. So that's all in the cloud and easily accessible as well. I thought about doing a separate video about how to have like an at-home and a travel setup and keep all your files in sync. So yeah, let me know. I'll put a poll up if you would like to see that video. One more kind of main device to show you, and that is my new baby, the iPad Pro. This is the 2018 model. It's the 11-inch version. I got it with 256 gigabytes of storage because that felt like enough. And obviously got the Apple Pencil to go with it, which just sits on the top there. Previously I had the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. I think this was the first model, potentially came out in 2016, something like that, and the original Apple Pencil as well. This was great, it served me really well, but I did find that the screen was just ever so slightly too small for getting good solid work done. As you can see, their sizes are fairly similar. Like, this one isn't that much bigger than this one, but because it's got so much less bezel around the screen, it's just so much bigger, and I find it's the perfect size for getting work done. So I'm really happy I decided to go for this one and not the bigger one, because this is just much more compact to travel with. I do think the new Apple Pencil is vastly better than the old one as well. This new one has kind of a matte finish to it, whereas this one was kind of glossy, and just makes this nicer to hold. It's also got a flat bit where it magnets to the top of the iPad to charge, which makes it again nicer to grip, I think. And it's got a special thing where you tap twice on it to change between tools and some of the drawing software, so that's nice. And yeah, unlike having to plug this one into the end of the iPad to charge, this one just charges by sitting on top, which is a very nice touch. I have done a video, and it was using this older iPad, all about how I use the iPad, what apps I use as part of my design process, and that hasn't changed. Procreate, Concepts, AstroPad to turn it into a graphics tablet. So I'm going to leave a link to that video, you can go watch it if you want to see what apps I use. I'm just using them all now on this iPad instead. I got two covers for it. This is the pink Folio cover so that I can like stand it up nicely if I need to. And then I also got the Folio keyboard. I wasn't so sure about this at first. It felt a little bit weird to type on to get started, and it's still not, I don't know, not the best keyboard. But look at that slimline profile, it's super nice to be able to have just an iPad and its case, but also it turns into a keyboard. I spent a really great session the other day at a coffee shop doing some writing on it, and I came to love it basically. I spent 2 hours with it, had a great focused writing session with it, and yeah, I'm on board, I'm converted, I like it now. This iPad, especially with that Folio keyboard case, has kind of replaced a lot of what I was using my little gold MacBook for. It was my favorite writing device previously, but now, yeah, the iPad has overtaken it. I just wish that I could use Figma on the iPad. Like, imagine being able to use the pencil to move stuff around in your Figma files. That would be amazing, but I did try it and it didn't seem to work. I do want to just give a disclaimer that If you're getting started in design and watching this video for tips on what computer to buy, you absolutely do not need 3. That's ridiculous. I've just happened to, like, I don't know, collect these over time, I suppose. They've just come into my possession. I also don't think that you need to have the latest and greatest of any model in order to do design. They are super expensive devices, especially to buy brand new, and it's just not necessary to be a designer. You don't need a fancy computer, you just need a way to access the design software. And because a lot of design software is based in the browser these days, it's not Mac specific, you can get whatever computer you can afford to get your work done. I do really like investing in devices that are going to help me work faster and also that I enjoy using. Obviously you saw a lot of Apple products in this video. I just really like Apple products. I like the Apple operating system, I like the whole ecosystem that it's a part of, so please no one in the comments tell me about a great PC that does the exact same thing for half the price. I'm just not interested. I like my Apple products. I would love to hear in the comments what the main device is that you work on. Is it a laptop? Is it a desktop? What one have you chosen to go with? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, then hit subscribe because I make new videos about design every week, and I'd love to see you back for the next one. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye!